Before we get started, my son's project is to learn a little bit about music theory. And so he's been plucking away, and he made an Avengers remix here. Pretty cool. All right, it's time to get on to pretty cool. Alrighty. Good morning, Lemon Pepper, the outdoor cat. She got to come in. We got some snow last night, so it's pretty chilly out there. She's cooking by the old dish heat here. Alright, so kids, get your scratch paper out. Parents, IXL, I think, is going to work best if you set a timer. I would say 15-minute increments, and really anytime after that without a break. The productivity, the accuracy of the data that's being collected can go way down because IXL can be exhausting. It is very conceptual, and it is a program that provides challenges, but it also diagnoses where the gaps, especially in mathematics and language arts, are. Today we're focusing on the mathematics portion of IXL, which I think you'll get the most out of at home. So remember that timer. Read your own kid, but I suggest 15 minutes, and kids, get your scratch paper out. Here we go. Good morning. Welcome to Wednesday, March 25th, 2020. Well, all my virtual learners out there, we are going to be diving into IXL. Kids, this is going to be a nice reminder for you, but parents, family members out there, this is definitely something that you are going to watch. That way you can keep track of what your kids are doing on IXL and how they can use IXL to its maximum potential. Alrighty, so up next we're going to dive into IXL. We'll go over what the diagnostic is, we'll go over what recommended strands are, and we'll go over the accountability charts, which are the IXL charts that were included into the yellow folders you guys picked up yesterday. All right, here we go. So I've already gone ahead and logged in to IXL, and when you log in, this is the screen that you see. The first thing that pops up is the recommendations. The recommendations are only as good as the performance and the completion of the diagnostic. Okay, so your diagnostic is up in this area here, and so you're gonna toggle between learning and diagnostic. And I highly recommend that first thing that you have your kid do is run the diagnostic. Now, they do this in the classroom periodically just to check in, but when you click on the diagnostic, the more that they are doing it, the more likely that the screen is going to look like this. Now, this is a student whose diagnostic is complete. This blue bubble here started out as a big oval that sort of stretched from a range of scores, say like 200 to 500, and it stretched. And the more that this student worked, he was able to narrow it down to a circle with a star in it. When you got that circle and the star in it, these recommended skills over here are going to be very effective. Now, when you click on them, they will give you a recommendation of strands that are on grade level, above grade level, and sometimes a little lower. And that is what they'll consider a gap. you'll see that this student has fourth grade strands recommended to him pretty often. As we scroll down, there is an ELA strand here, language arts for second grade, another one for third grade. These strands are recommended because of the diagnostic. Now, again, please, for now, focus on the math portion. And so when you have recommended skills that come up because of the diagnostic, they're going to give you options between the math ones and the language arts strands. So I think for now, stick with the math strands. By all means, go on the language arts strands if you are finding yourself ready to move on. And ELA strands too, that way you can go between the both and change it up a little bit. But I do want to see progress from the mathematical strands. So the diagnostic, again, is the first thing that you want to run. You want to run that until the oval, colored oval, has shrunk down to a circle with the star in the middle of it. And they break this down for each section of mathematics. Numbers and operation, that's your rounding and your addition and subtraction, estimating. Algebraic equations, algebraic thinking, that's going to be your come up with the number sentence that this word problem represents. Kinds of activities. Fractions, we're right in the mix with fractions. To avoid teaching any new lessons right now, as we've been instructed, kids can definitely go into fractions, and a lot of times this is where you're going to find that the recommended skills may fall below grade level. You can see here third grade strands, and all that's doing is filling in the gaps for what was learned last year and regression because of the amount of time that's passed because of when we study fractions during the school year. So after you do the diagnostic, you look at your recommended strands, then comes the idea of, oh wait, you know what, real quick, in the diagnostic, to ensure that when students are diagnosing, you're going to want to first click Step in the Arena. As soon as they click Step in the Arena, there is this section over here that has a drop-down arrow. Very, very difficult to see, but if you click on that portion or click on that arrow, then you can select just math. That'll ensure that right now, for the time being, we're diagnosing in math. Okay. And then it gives you an option which questions to answer next. Okay. All right. Under learning is where you're going to find your recommendations, but then go ahead and click on math. And once you click on math, you're already in the fourth grade, and these are all the mathematical strands that students have been working on. Now, any of the strands that have numbers next to them, those are the ones that the students have already started. For instance, this strand, and I do apologize about not being able to see that, but that strand has an 86 next to it, okay? Keep that in mind there because that score is important. When you click on this particular strand, you have a screen that contains 3 boxes, a green, a blue, and a red. The green and the red are connected. Now, you want the questions answered to be as minimal as possible to achieve a SMART score of 85 or higher. The 85 or higher is saying that, all right, you have command of this skill. Now you're ready for some challenge problems.
If you notice that this is in the hundreds, definitely, and this SMART score is still at a well below 85, that is an opportunity for you to stop what you're doing, take a deep breath, and then scroll on down a little bit. And what happens is it gives you these options. Not feeling ready yet? Well, hey, these can help here. And then you can click on those strands to give a little boost, a little bit of a reminder, in this case, a third grade reminder. And when you click on that, that becomes a recommended strand within a smaller strand that the students are working on. Well, say you are in math and you are ready to take a look at your IXL accountability chart, which is right here. This chart is here to help keep you organized on the strands that Mr. Tillish is really asking you to complete here. These are the multiplication strands, as I stated yesterday in our video, in the unpacking the unpacking of your yellow folder, and these documents were inside. And so we'll go back to IXL, and the strand that we are going to look at is, in this case, let's go to D21. That's a doozy, using the distributive property with multiplication. Go to D21, and from there, once you go back to IXL, you scroll on down until you find the D's, and as soon as that decides to unscramble, we can find strand 21. I'm just gonna multiply using the distributive property. Okay, so now what your child can do is click on D21, and what we can do from there is practice these problems. This is a great example of, questions answered is 38. Well, the SMART score is still 38. That is too many questions tried for that SMART score to still be that low. Perfect opportunity to come over to the not feeling ready yet section and click on that properties of multiplication. That can give you a little rundown on how to complete problems such as this. And for us kids, we are working on the order of operations, the properties of multiplication, and that all involves, parentheses and those actions being first. But once this student is confident that they've practiced their not feeling ready yet strands, they came back to it, they got their 85, or they didn't get their 85, maybe they got up to a 50, they can come over to D21 and we'll just write the accurate score that was up there and write 38 in one of the boxes. Okay, that's the first try. And then they come back and they try D21 again. They got a 55 SMART score. And they keep on going and going. They're boosted up to 65, then 75, and then 85. And then once you're there at that 85, give yourself a little circle just notating that you achieved your SMART score that Mr. Tillish is expecting you to get. So, those are the accountability charts. You have one of those for multiplication, and you have one of those for division as well, as I stated yesterday. So, quick recap. We went over the IXL diagnostic. We went over those recommended strands, which really only mean a lot when the student has completed their diagnostic. We went over the accountability charts. Now, kids, it's time to get your scratch paper out, and parents, remember to set that timer. The last thing we want to do here is create any any frustration. Some of these strands can be challenging. So also just be prepared to sit on down with your child and help them walk through a couple of steps. And then always feel free to send me a comment for any questions that you have, any concerns that you have. All right? All right, boys and girls, you all take care. I sure am missing the heck out of you every day. So I am just going to keep posting videos, keep making lessons, and just really feel like I'm doing what I love to do, just in a different way. So I hope you're doing what you love to do. I hope you're getting a chance to talk to your friends, playing projects, anything. So keep those Save Your Sanity activities coming. I got a pretty awesome time capsule pictures yesterday from Waden. And Waden, hey man, big shout out. Thanks for getting that out. So, all right guys, take care.